I don't know what the fuck you guys are thinking. But you don't ever talk about my band again. What's this honest brutality shit anyway?
Honest brutality.
Hey guys, this is Shane from HammerjacK, and you are listening to Honest Brutality.
Hey everybody, welcome to Honest Brutality's Big Sloppy with Evil Irk, the Butcher, and Camera Rebel. How you guys doing?
Glorious.
What's up?
Yeah.
Heya.
Hey, we got somebody fun on the line from the UK, the band HammerjacK. Welcome their drummer, Shane White. How you doing, Shane?
Hi guys, how's it going?
Really good, really good. How's it going over there in the UK, brother?
Yeah, we're doing good. Resting up after a couple of gigs this weekend.
Nice.
Just chilling out at the moment.
Let's talk about HammerjacK a little bit.
Yeah, man, what do you want to know?
Let's talk your sound a little bit. Why don't you tell our listeners, if you were to explain your band to somebody who's never heard your band before, what would you say?
Okay, well, I'll go with what we kind of get told from people who come and see us. They normally sort of say if you mix Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and Guns N' Roses together, then that's pretty much HammerjacK. We've got the sort of powerful vocals and then the real catchy kind of rhythm section behind it that sort of lends itself to the styles of the sort of earlier classic rock bands that, you know, everyone knows and loves.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty spot on.
It's pretty accurate. Your sound, you say, you're influenced, and you can hear that influence in your music for sure. But you guys, you don't sound retro, you sound modern. So even though
that's what we want to try and do. Obviously, bring the British vibe into it, and obviously keep it fresh, keep it up to date. Because obviously, it's all good having the old school influences, but you obviously need to stick with the times and, you know, keep it current as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys got some music out that is available for our listeners actually on Spotify right now, correct?
Yeah, we got 2 EPs. We got the original one and then the new white label one, which I think it's been about a year now. So yeah, they're on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere. Literally any good outlet you can get them from. Yeah,
and they're a lot of fun. You got some good tunes on there, and we're going to share those with our audience here shortly. But listening to Sharpie's voice, it reminds the first thing that comes to mind to me is razor blades and whiskey. That's just what his voice brings about. That's the feelings I get. It's like this guy is swallowing razor blades and drinking whiskey and coming out with a badass rock voice.
Mate, the dude is insane. I mean, I joined the band later than the rest of the guys. I think they were already a couple of years in. And their drummer sort of left for personal reasons, and they put out an audition. I decided that I'd go for it, and as soon as I listened, I was like, wow, this guy can sing. Like, these guys are good. And I thought, I've got to be in the band. So went along to the audition. I was the only person who actually learned any of the tracks out of all the people who did turn up to audition for them.
Wow.
So that's what got me in. They only asked people to learn 3 tracks, but I learnt their entire back catalogue just off my own back, just to show that I was keen. And yeah, I got in straight away. And just sitting down in the audition and running through the first few seconds of the first track we did, and I was like, Jesus, this guy has got some serious vocals. It's just raw power. And like you say, sounds like he smokes like 40 a day and bangs the whiskey back like nothing else. But he is just immense. He's not a big guy either. He's probably the smallest guy in the band. But where the lungs come from, I just don't know. It's incredible.
Yeah, he brings it for sure. I mean, you can listen to, you guys put out a single for I Can't Change, and he really exploits that vocally on that song.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and that's a pretty cool video, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's actually where I work.
What? Where is it you work exactly?
Basically a small yard near Guildford in Surrey. And I basically rent a little barn out of a tree surgeon's yard. So we've constantly got felled trees and big logs and all that sort of stuff around. So it made for a really good backdrop for the video.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, it just happened as well that weekend the guys were doing the Destruction Derby kind of banger racing, so their cars were in the yard at the same time, so that added to the effect of the video. So it's pretty cool. It just worked out really well. Wasn't even planned.
It was really nice. I enjoyed it a lot. And then you guys put something out. You did something really cool back around the first of the year. You did a stripped down version of Going Down Again. And,
yeah.
And if you listen to the original version, it's really good in the first place. It's a real rocker, but you guys stripped it down really unique. You had I want to say a stand-up bass in that you brought down.
No, it's
a
Jack
cello?
plays the cello.
A cello. Yeah, it was a cello.
Yeah.
And the way you guys stripped it down was like an entirely different song, and it was gorgeous.
Yeah, everyone. I've even had some people say that they prefer the acoustic version. So it really is like it's real mellow, it's real calm, and like you say, it's really nice and stripped back and completely unique to the original sort of version.
Well,
but we love it, and I think it got something like 12,000 views within the first week. It was amazing, really well received.
Well, it's a damn good tune. I like both versions. I prefer the heavy version because that's just me. I'm just
same. Yeah, I'm not in the acoustic version either, so it was a little bit difficult for me. I have to stand back, be in the background, and watch it all go on.
Yeah, you fuckers.
They give you bongos or
That's
anything?
it. Yeah,
Yeah, you should put some bongos in it or something.
we did actually think about trying to do something, but every time we tried it out before we recorded it just didn't work, so we thought we'd just leave it completely stripped, completely raw, and we'd just go for like sort of one take kind of thing.
So you don't think they're trying to muscle you out of the band or anything?
Nah, not at all. They need me. I've got the van.
So what's her name?
The van's name, she doesn't have a name.
What? Come on, you gotta name her.
You can't have a rock van without a name.
To be fair, it won't be around much longer. I'm looking to sort of change up, but I don't know. I think it's more of an American thing to name a vehicle. I don't really know many people that actually name vehicles over here.
Oh no, you're very incorrect in that, my friend. We've
That's
talked
all
to
over the
them all
world.
over the world. They've all named them.
It's just you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you guys are the outcasts here, man.
That's it, yeah. That's what makes us unique then.
Yeah,
There you go.
You know, when you get your new ride, when you get the new van, we need to have a HammerjacK contest to name your van.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll make a
Hell
thing
yeah.
out of it.
Yeah, we'll push it. We'll give you guys a little press on our side, a little socials. It'll be a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, we can send out like a copy of each EP for the winner.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, sold.
See,
Good deal.
brainstorming at its finest.
So now you said that you guys are looking to switch it up. Are you going something bigger?
Well, it's my own personal vehicle, so obviously I can use it for work as well as the band. But I mean, I bought the crew cab, so it had the 6 seats, so we can all get in it. But it's just getting to the point where I think I do need something with a little bit more space in it for my work. So I'll probably end up going back to just a normal panel van.
Yeah.
Nice.
But,
There you go.
Panel
yeah,
is good for
to
a
be
tour.
fair, with the bassist sort of lives in London anyway, and we're all Guildford, so it's sort of 3 in 1. So you don't really need all the seats in there, really, because he drives separately most of the time. But yeah,
Who lives in London?
Jack, the bassist.
Okay. Well,
So he's not going to be around for much longer anyway. 'Cause the show we just did on Friday was his potentially last ever show with us.
Oh.
There might be one more that he has to fill in for, but it depends whether the new guy we've got lined up can make it in time, like learning all the tracks.
okay, that was my question I was going to get into. You guys have been searching diligently for about a month now or better for a new bass player, knowing that you're going to lose.
It feels
the guy.
like so much longer.
Yeah, and I got to give you kudos here because you've gone to every extreme possible to try to get a decent bass player in the band. And I know you and I spoke a little bit online regarding this about because you guys are near the London area, and I would assume there's just shit tons of bass players in the area. But as you were saying, that they want to do pop punk or other problems you're running into finding a guy.
Yeah, I mean, we've even got the ACM, Academy of Contemporary Music, which produces some of the country's best musicians, and that is in Guildford. It's in our hometown. And even approaching them, I mean, yeah, they're a lot younger. I mean, they're sort of like 18, 19, whereas we're sort of late 20s. But you'd think there'd still be someone that is interested in playing rock. But unfortunately, we've kind of hit a bit of a wall with it. And I say I'm easily into the 20s now of people that have said, yeah, I really want to audition. I'll learn the tracks. And then maybe a day before or even on the same day, they just bail out.
Wow.
I wonder if they're just getting cold feet. Just
I don't know. A lot of them have used the sort of same excuse of, oh, you guys are too committed. Like, I just want a bit of fun with it. Maybe play a gig every now and then.
Ah.
Yeah, and that's
And,
not the kind of people you want on your band.
No, that's it. We're trying to make something. We want to have this as our career. This is what our dream is. We want to actually get to that sort of upper stage and start playing big festivals, go along with named bands that everyone knows of. We want to be that band. Live the dream, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. So in your mind, what do you guys need to do to get to that spot? Do you guys have like a plan in place?
Well, once we've got the bassist issue sorted, I think we need to get management on board. Because at the moment we're literally doing everything independently, and it is hard work. I mean, you guys probably know yourselves, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes with any band that the audience don't really know about.
Right.
I mean, yeah, original bands don't make a lot of money. I don't know what it's like over there in the US, but
it's the same.
I think, yeah, we might be lucky if we get maybe £80 for one show. And obviously that's only just going to cover the fuel. Like the one we done this weekend, as I said, like I was driving for 10 hours, I think it was total. So that was 80 quid's worth of fuel there.
Right.
And that doesn't even cover the hostel that we had to stay in, any of the food or drink that we've had to pay for, any of that, So if anything, a band is always at a loss.
Right.
Until you get to that stage where you're selling out venues and selling lots of merch and all that sort of stuff, you're actually making sales. Then you can maybe break even and start actually earning a little bit of money. But even so, you've got to sell a lot of stuff to even make profit.
Yeah, very true.
So what do you think the key is for the bigger bands that are selling out stadiums? What do you think what they've done to get to that spot?
Well, as anyone knows, really, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So if you're well connected, then obviously you're going to get a bit of a leg up on the competition. But really, I think you just got to play good shows, attract an audience, because, like your friend will come along, they'll tell another friend, and you just need to get that like buzz going. And once you've got it, you got to hold on to it and keep going. You can't have big gaps between shows. You've always got to be performing, always got to give it your best. And yeah, if people like you, they will follow you. It's not down to what your music is, it's how good a performance you actually do.
Well said.
I mean, if you enjoy it on stage, then the audience are going to feel that, and they're going to enjoy it off stage. So you just got to keep pushing, I think. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's good to have management backing you, maybe even a small label to help push things forward. But you're not going to get to that stage unless you put the hard work in, and that's what we're trying to do.
Man, you're speaking some good truths here that a lot of bands need to hear, actually, about putting the work in. We recently spoke to a gentleman from a band called The Last Band. And they got into, you familiar with those guys?
No, I've not heard of them, no.
They're pretty kick-ass. Check them out. Anyway, talking to their lead singer, when they first formed, they got into a competition to open for a couple festivals over in Sweden. And to win those, he admitted, he said, our music was not that good at the time, but our stage show was so good that people loved us. And that's how we got through. And then here you are, you're saying the same thing. You got to put on a good show. You got to put on lots of shows. You got to get your face out there, and you got to win people over live. And there's so much to that. And I think that's really the big thing anymore. It's hard to get airplay playing the style of music we enjoy. Rock and metal is hard.
Yeah.
We try to provide that outlet. That's part of what we do here. But you have to get out. You got to put the work in. And I think a lot of bands fall down in that department. They're afraid to take that leap of faith and jump out and get their toe in the water, and so to speak, and get in front of the audiences enough to make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we try and play more shows. I mean, a lot of people have said to us, "Oh, how come you haven't released an album yet, and you've only got your 2 EPs?" To be fair, the band's been together now for 5 years. We're still playing or trying to play as many shows as possible. But there's no point for us, or in our mind, writing an album when we're still not on that sort of next level in terms of how many people are coming to our shows, and the sales aren't really going up on our EPs yet. So we don't see it financially viable to put all the money into spending thousands of pounds on recording a full album. I mean, we are writing new music. There is new stuff to come. Don't get me wrong, but for us to spend that money and get in the studio, obviously a lot of us have got to book time off work, and obviously that loses us money. So we've got to have a good game plan to actually work it right for us as well as the fans. we stick a new track in every now and then when we play, especially to like the more local crowds who do follow us. But yeah, it is very tough. I mean, every aspect of it has got to be thought out very well. It's got to have a good plan, good structure to it. And you've just got to push through. It's really difficult.
It is, and I think it is everywhere, not just in your region, but it seems to be a global concept that is tough. And the album concept that you brought up, the fact that it's not viable to make a full LP, we're finding more and more artists are telling us that what they're seeing success with is with singles and releasing singles.
Yep.
You know, and so I'm curious, is that kind of what your plan is going to be going forward as you move forward to stay? Because you need to stay, what's the word I'm looking for? You need to stay
fresh, relevant.
Well, relevant in the eye of the internet, of the digital world.
Well, you've always got to have something. As I've learned from a friend's band, I think you guys know him, In Search of Sun.
Oh, please. Adam's like, we know of you because of Adam. How's that?
Yeah, that's it. So I get a lot of advice from Adam, and he's a really great guy. And he sort of taught me that basically you need to always have stuff in the back burner. If you've just released a video, you should already have started planning your next video. If you're going to release a single, your next single after that should already be written and ready to go. So you've always got continuous flow of stuff. And that's what we're doing now. We're really making sure that everything we do has something next to come along. And that's the way that you keep good presence on social media. You keep everyone like sort of integrated with you, and they're always sort of keeping an eye out on what you're doing, and you've given them something so they can keep hooked in. They don't just sort of get a bit stale and think, oh, well, you know, they haven't done anything in a while, so I'm not going to bother with them anymore. You need to keep relevant. You need to keep it all fresh, keep it up to date, and yeah, just keep pushing through.
So, Shane, let's kind of take a historical look back here.
Okay.
Back to the times when internet was not really relevant. So there was no social media, but bands made their money off of their albums. Well, nowadays that doesn't seem to be the thing. They make they make a little bit, but they're making more money off their merch and doing shows, right?
Yeah, I mean, touring's how the bands are making it,
exactly.
Like money-wise at the moment. They got merch sales, ticket prices, all that sort of thing.
Right, so you're getting more exposure now with the internet. So what do you think it's going to be like in like 20, 40 years from now? What do you think the musical struggle and making money at it will be? Personal opinion? Yes.
I think there probably won't be many live shows at all. All the small venues will be gone. And I think if anything, this whole Facebook Live and the whole streaming of everything, I think that will be the new way of having a gig. So there'll be a band in a studio, and then you'll literally just jump in. You'll have to pay a price to go on the stream and watch them perform in their little studio. I think that's the way it's going to go.
Yeah,
well, Shane,
that's very interesting.
That's the most depressing thing I've heard all day.
It really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I
just ruined my fucking day. Thanks, man.
I mean, take me back to the 70s, 80s. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't born in those times, but I would love to go. I mean, for me, I was born 20, 30 years too late.
Right.
I'd love to have lived through the 70s, 80s and watch all the big bands, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Deep Purple, all those kind of guys coming through, being at their shows, having hundreds of thousands of people go to festivals.
Right.
And just having a good time. Like, all the small venues would be packed out. I mean, you'd have, even the local pubs and clubs would have decent bands on. And everyone would be like, oh, I can't wait for Friday night or Saturday night. Let's go down there. Let's go see the bands. But these days, I mean, the places around our way, I mean, one of the venues we play, I'm not going to name it just because it's not fair on them. But yeah, one of the venues we play, average of about 15 people when we turn up there.
Wow.
And you think like you've got 5 bands on, so there's more members of bands than there is audience that come to see us.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just because people cannot be bothered to come out. I mean, even the clubs and that, for people who like pop music, they're not nowhere near as busy. I mean, from when I was 18, 10 odd years ago now, and you think, how back then was it absolutely rammed, and now people just can't be bothered. I mean, I don't know whether people just don't have the money for it, or whether times are changing and people are into different things, but the scene for any kind of music, I mean, it's definitely dying, but
they can definitely catch a show online.
Yeah.
So do you think that is possibly them being lazy?
I think it is, but people, for me, I've been to a lot of shows where I've not enjoyed myself. I mean, the quality of the performances haven't been that good, or you might not just enjoy that genre of music, but we've all got to push through those, because there's always going to be a diamond in the rough. Right. There's always a band that's going to stand out, and you then find that new thing. I mean, I went to Download again this year, and there was a lot of dead space for me for bands that I wanted to see. So I thought, well, let's go around the tents. Let's see the smaller stages. Let's find someone new that we liked. And we all come away with about 6 or 7, maybe even 8 new bands that we all really enjoyed. And that's what music should be about. Yeah. Finding the up and coming guys, finding the people that you do enjoy and that are new. Because otherwise they're not going to get a chance to be the next AC/DC or Led Zeppelin. Amen. It's just always going to be looking back on the times of, oh, do you remember those guys who were massive?
Right.
Yeah, good point.
I love it.
Wow. Well, you know, that speaks of something. We were just at a little metal festival yesterday. It's an up-and-coming festival. And it was a festival, but the attendance was in the hundreds. It wasn't in the thousands by any means. But it's a growing festival, and it's a situation where none of the bands really are named bands that were there. But we were taken aback. There were 16 bands, and every damn one of them was good.
There were only 1 or 2 were like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, kind of so-so.
Not really enjoying that, but they still brought it. They still entertained the rest of the crowd.
They busted their ass to have that crowd there. But I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on the live. I think there will always be some kind of an audience for, maybe not the numbers there used to be, but I think there will always be some kind of an audience for a live gig to some degree. Because we have our own huge festival here in the area. It's called Aftershock. Okay, and you've been to Download. You know that thing sells out pretty much every year. This Aftershock show, it's 60,000 or so a day, something like that.
Sold out last year over that.
Yeah. And it sells out. But I think the difference is these are festivals. What you were talking about, I remember back in the day. I remember Iron Maiden would tour, and they would sell out arenas constantly. And now,
I've seen Maiden many times. They're one of my favorite bands, and they always bring it all the way around the world, no matter where they go. But they bring a crowd. Even
them, though, these days, they have to bring another big name with them to try to get that draw. Whereas in the old days, they could just pick up a local band to open up the show for them. It was no big deal. And it was that way across the platform. We had all kinds of these nice venues. We'd have shows come through year round. But now it seems like to see a good show, you got to go to a festival if you want to see the big names. They rarely tour on their own to the large venues anymore because it's hard to make a draw.
Yeah, I mean, bands aren't about being just like playing music anymore. I mean, it's a business, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no business sense in losing money. So if they don't think that they're going to make enough money on a tour, then like you say, they've got to bring in another big band. But then obviously they're going to want a decent slice of the pie.
Right.
So unless they can really generate, I mean, like you say, in Iron Maiden, they've just gone on tour with Shinedown.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at one of their shows, and it was incredible. They really were good. I do like Shinedown a lot. I've seen them a few times now, but like you say, you've got 2 big names there together, and they've had to join up to be able to make the shows.
Right.
I mean, we were at the O2 in London, and it wasn't sold out. It was busy, very busy, but it wasn't sold out. And I remember seeing Iron Maiden with some bands I'd never even heard of at Earl's Court. I know it's a different venue, but it was absolutely rammed to the point where like every seat was taken. The queues were miles long outside waiting for them. And you go to any sort of like town that a big name's playing, and you notice that town has been taken over by the fans. That's what you need to see.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Well, hey, let's get back to you guys a little bit.
Yeah.
You guys played a gig in Estonia?
Yeah, I wasn't part of the band for that back then, but they done a European tour with some guys called Lord Vulture.
Not familiar.
And yeah, they basically went all over Europe playing like venues in God knows where. I mean, Estonia, Valencia, a few others to like sort of think of, but yeah, I can't really comment too much. I've heard the stories that come from those shows, but that's about all I know.
It was interesting to me that was the one named place on the list was Estonia, because we talked to a band from Estonia called Redneck Rampage that are they're pretty damn good in their own right. But nobody ever mentions Estonia. That's what it caught me off guard.
Yeah, I think it might have been one of their shows that they enjoyed the most. That's why they probably mention it. But also, to be fair, I know a few people from Estonia, but like you say, it's not a very well-known place. Yeah, maybe they just enjoyed that show the most, and that's why it ended up on the list. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I think it's just people here in America who don't know what Estonia is. Over in Europe, it's probably a little more prominent.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I've definitely heard of it, but then I suppose maybe I'm just a little bit better at geography.
So wait, unlike Sloppy, could you actually point out Estonia on a map?
I'm sure he could. So where have you been across Europe yourself and played? Any place fun?
I haven't actually played outside of the UK yet. I've done a UK tour with HammerjacK, but I haven't managed to play anywhere. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd love to come over to your side of the water and rock it over there. But I think those days are a little way off yet. We've got a lot of work to do to get over there.
Well, getting back to your music and your sound, and you have recently joined the band, are you involved actively in the songwriting process with the other guys?
Yeah, we basically go to my yard, we set up, there's like a full band as if we were actually going to play a show, and we just jam out. We have fun with it. We just try and make stuff up, and then if we like an idea, then we'll push it, and we'll then turn anything into a song, and we'll even finish it. If it doesn't click, we just get rid of it straight away. If someone doesn't like an idea, it's right, no, that sucks, get rid of it, shit. And we're very militant in that respect. Like we're very blunt. We don't mince our words, because otherwise it's a waste of time. If you're trying to sit on an idea and push it forward and no one else is feeling it, there's no point. If we're not all going to enjoy what we're playing, just get rid of it. Start again.
I like that.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But all four of us have full influence on everything that anyone else does. I mean, one of my favorite things about trying to write songs is Sharpie turning around to me and saying, "Oh, if you just do this idea," and then he'll just randomly beatbox something in the worst possible way, but it kind of works. And then even he'll try and jump on the kit and be like, "This is the kind of thing that I'm thinking." He can't play drums. I mean, he can do a little bit, but it's like me. If I try and say, "Oh, if you change the guitar to this," and then I've got to just kind of say it rather than play. I can't play guitar, but yeah, it becomes a very fun experience. But yeah, we all put as much as each other into the writing of the songs.
That's awesome.
That's good, man. I'm glad to hear that.
Absolutely.
What's the one major challenge you have as a band right now?
At the moment, aside from finding a bassist, it's probably expanding where we're playing. I mean, we've got a good, very good amount of local venues, maybe sort of up to, I don't know, about a 60-mile radius from where we are. Right. But we're now looking to push into the Midlands and go further up north to sort of help try and generate fans up there to spread the word across the country. But finding venues that aren't shutting down is a very big issue for us, because you kind of find you either got a complete dive that is maybe a local pub that has bands on every now and then, and you'll play to one man and his dog, or you're going to have to be a slightly bigger band that can guarantee a footfall to get into a proper name venue. So there's not really much of an in-between. I mean, we'll happily turn up to any venue. You could put us on at Wembley, and we'll rock it as hard as we would as like one of our local small venues. We will play to one person the same as we will a million, but we need the venues to stop shutting down to actually support local music and try and at least maybe put some fuel money back in the band's pockets, because I think that's what's disheartening for a lot of us.
So why do you reckon the venues are shutting down? Is it because
they're not getting the footfall?
Yeah.
People aren't coming out there. I mean, most of the shows we play for the newer venues are maybe on like a Thursday night. So obviously people have got work the next day. They're not willing to come out, and some of the promoters want to put money on the door rather than just having it as an open sort of like gig, and then maybe just the venue makes money from the drinks. They're putting maybe too high a price on it. Maybe £15 is a bit much when 5 bands you've never heard of.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know for a fact I've seen some big bands for £15 a ticket over the years. And when you say, oh, you know, you could see, I think it was probably Nickelback a fair few years ago, I saw for about 15 quid. And obviously everyone knows Nickelback. They're not well recepted. I see a lot of slating going on online for them. But as the example, they were about £15, but you say, oh, you know, I saw Nickelback for 15 quid. And then you say, well, I saw HammerjacK and 4 other bands for 15 quid. And they'll say, who?
Yeah.
So that's why they're not
I know who
willing
you
to come
are.
out.
That's what counts, right?
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you can help spread the word for us.
Yeah, right.
Working on it.
You actually did something for us recently. We had our Bands Against Bullying show in Neosho, Missouri a couple months back, and you were kind enough.
How did that go?
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. We've gotten some feedback on that. I'll share with you behind the scenes a little bit. It was really awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I just wanted to say thank you personally for going out of your way and making that video for us and helping to get the word out on that. That really helped us a lot.
Yeah, thank you from all of us.
No, that meant a lot to me because I mean I was bullied back throughout my entire school year, so it's something that is very close to my heart. So yeah, when you guys said that you were putting on the show, you want to do a little video, yeah, of course I was going to help out. It's something that means something to me, and it will help others. If you're going to create awareness for it, then happy days. I'll support that all day long.
In regards to bullying, you said that you went through it. It's obviously prevalent in the world today. A lot of our younger generation deals with bullying online. But as far as like in the schools or whatever, what would you say to our youth right now on how to handle bullies?
Okay, firstly, tell someone. No matter how scared you are, just tell someone. And secondly, although I wouldn't advise it too much, I mean, I'm not condoning violence or anything, I'm just saying stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Don't let yourself get pushed around, and you will actually find most bullies will back down instantly if you just stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Because all they think is you're an easy target.
Right.
And as soon as you let them know that you are, they're going to keep coming back.
Right.
Once you stood up for yourself and tell them you're not putting up with it, they'll back off. They'll respect you.
I love it. Thank you.
A lot of truth in that statement.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of fear on telling somebody. And you know what? Not just fear of like, if I tell a teacher that this person is bullying me, that, they're going to find out they're going to bully me more, but a lot of fear in the teacher not doing anything about it.
Yeah, that's where you need to have a good sort of connection and have someone, maybe even if it is like a counselor at the school or something, who is predominantly there to stop bullying, rather than just maybe your math teacher or English teacher. Speak to someone who's there mainly to help with those issues, and they will do more than most of the others will. But anyone should be able to help you, even if you just tell a friend.
Yeah.
Tell someone. Just don't keep it inside. Don't put up with it. Don't ruin your own life by not speaking out about it.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much.
Very well said.
That's gold.
Cool. Hey, let's talk about when you guys play live for a minute. When you guys go live, what's the one song you look forward to playing because you know you're going to get a reaction out of it?
Kind of a cheeky answer because it's 2 songs for us because we blend them together.
Okay.
But for me, and I could probably be speaking for the rest of the guys in this, we've got More Than Nothing that we then blend into Cards and Whiskey.
Oh, really?
And because they're both sort of southern slide tracks on the guitar, they're in the same tuning. So at the end of More Than Nothing, it ends out on the big sort of like cymbal crashes, and then I just count in 4-click on the hats and just smash into Cards and Whiskey, and everyone just goes absolutely nuts, no matter who they are, if they've heard us before or not. Everyone just goes mental for it, and that's how we end our shows. And it is really good to see everyone jump in, bouncing around, even if you get like a little pit going. I mean, I don't think we're heavy enough to really get pits, but we've seen some pretty good ones in some small venues. It's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Which leads me to my next question. What is the absolute funniest thing you've seen from the stage? Because you had to have seen some funny shit at this point.
For me, I think it's got to be someone doing like a failed stage dive.
Explain.
Trying to just step up onto the stage, ready to jump off. Their foot slipped and they've just smothered themselves in beer.
That's awesome.
I thought for sure he was going to say a man moshing with his dog.
That would be amazing. That's got to happen.
You mentioned earlier during the whole stripped down acoustic song that somebody plays the cello.
Yes.
That speaks to somebody having some classical training outside of whatever they play now. Do you have any classical training or any sort of musical training in school?
I am fully self-taught.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
I've not done lessons. I originally did start on guitar. I think I got to about grade 4, which is I think it's like blues stuff, like basic blues. And for me, I struggled because I've got very small hands. So I've struggled when it comes to stretching for the chords, and I couldn't really get the fluency when changing through chords to get the song to flow right. So me being me and not having much patience at all, gave up on that very quickly. And a friend of mine said, "Oh, have you ever played the drums?" No, I haven't. So our school had a couple of like small rehearsal rooms that anyone could go into at break time and either play drums or get the guitar out, whatever. So he took me in. He was like, "Oh, here you go." Handed me some sticks, showed me like the basic AC/DC beat, and that was that. It come to me within seconds, and it just felt very natural. So I worked hard. I had a Saturday job at the time. Ended up saving up all my money, and I think I spent about £250 on a very basic drum kit, stuck it in the shed at home, and that was that. I've been doing it about 14 years now.
You just said something very interesting. It caught all of our attention here about being in school and having access to instruments, which here in the stateside is something that's gone away. When I was in school, we had that. We actually had band classes. They would provide you with all the instruments and everything. But nowadays, it's kind of gone away.
Well, even if they have the instruments, you have to be part of the class to have access.
It wasn't just accessible in our free time or anything like that. Is that?
Oh, really?
Is that commonplace over there?
Well, I can only speak for my own school that I went to. But I mean, yeah, any kid could go in and ask to sort of play. I mean, if you showed that you were willing to learn something, then obviously they would try and push you forward and help you with that. Because I think you could get lessons through the school from some of the teachers. So, I mean, my parents used to pay for the guitar lessons. But when I chose music for my GCSEs, which is like the final exams over here, I don't know if you've got those over there. So for the final 3 years, I think it was, you do what they call your choices, where you have to pick specific lessons that you want to do. So I chose music and then sort of like woodwork for my GCSEs. And when you've done that, you're allowed to sort of go in and just play as much as you want. You could have lessons paid through the school.
Wow.
Damn.
And yeah, it really did help me. I mean, the lessons weren't very beneficial because I'm what's known as a kinesthetic learner. So I learn by doing.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I don't have any musical knowledge. I don't know what notes mean. I can't read music. It's something I would like to learn, but unfortunately, my brain just doesn't work that way. I mean, I listen to a song, and as long as I know that it's not like, I don't know, Dragon Force kind of speed or something like that, and it's within my ability, then I could pick it up within a few tries.
Right.
That's just the way I work.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Evil here, he's a drummer as well.
Mhm.
And so you read music though a little bit, don't you?
A little bit. Yeah, but throughout all the training I had, I was more of a learner that way, actually, myself. It was to listen and play it back, because the muscle memory is what sticks as a drummer more than anything, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man.
And learning the 4-way separation is the biggest bitch of all. Once you figure that out, everything else kind of falls into place.
Yes, that's for me. I mean, anyone that I've tried teaching drums, it's that separation from your leading foot and your leading hand for the hi-hats. People try and follow. If you do like maybe like add a cut, like a double on the kick, they always do it with the hand.
Right.
That getting that separation is what I find people struggle with most. But yeah, getting the 4-way separation is the bitch.
It is. But you know what's funny is I can do that, but I can barely put on my pants without falling over. So I don't know. It's
all of my limbs act independently, but don't ask me to get dressed.
That's right. All right. Hey, Shane, anything we haven't talked about you wanted to address there, bud?
When are you going to get us over there?
What are you doing tomorrow?
Hey, I'll come over tomorrow if I could. I definitely would.
How do our listeners get a hold of HammerjacK?
If you've got iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon Music, any good, like SoundCloud, any good music platform has got HammerjacK on it. We've got a website, which is www.hammerjackuk.com. We're on Facebook /HammerjacK UK. Instagram, Twitter, although the Twitter doesn't get used much because unfortunately all four of us don't really know how it works. We are on there.
Welcome to Big Sloppy.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to see the pictures of the band, there's loads of stuff going up all the time. I mean, I'm going to be uploading some photos from this weekend's show. Sort of viewer discretion advised. Most of us are half naked.
Awesome.
Hey, easy.
And so every social media platform, we're on that. Every good music outlet, you can get our music. Spotify, obviously, if you don't want to pay for it, it's free. If you've got Apple Music, you can listen to it for free. And yeah, if you do want hard copies of our EPs, message either find my profile, Shane White, or go onto the HammerjacK page and send us an inbox message, and I will get them posted out to you guys.
We just want to say thanks for coming on with us and hanging out today.
No, thank you. It's been good to talk to you guys.
Those Brits are almost too polite, aren't they?
They're amazing.
You know, he was a lot more stoic than some that we've spoken to, but in a great way. Intelligent guy.
Yeah.
Well spoken.
Mm-hmm.
Very driven.
Driven's a great way to put that. That band has got a lot of drive in them, and their music's full of energy, though. It's totally the opposite.
It's an interesting, we touched on it, but it's interesting mix of styles.
Yeah.
It's an interesting style of music.
Yeah. And I think unique to some degree. It's got an old school feel to it, but it's fresh.
Yeah.
And it's got a lot of energy behind it. And he's right. Sharpie's, his vocals are damn good. If you go check out that acoustic version of Going Down Again, it's really good. And his vocals really shine on that.
Yeah.
Good time with these guys.
It's always a good time when you hang out with Honest Brutality.
What? Hell yeah.
If you'd like more Honest Brutality, go to honestbrutality.com. All things Honest Brutality all the time. Check us out on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us there. You can also call us.
Yeah, 530-962-0411. Call and say hey.
We do appreciate you listening. One of the most important things you can do if you are listening to the podcast is
like, share, rate, and review.
That works. You said it with a question mark and an upward inflection, but I believe you. Check us out. We are on Rock Rage Radio. We are there Saturdays. We are there Tuesdays. Go to honestbrutality.com. Find the times and be there. In the meantime, be good people. Take care of one another. And most importantly,
stay metal!
Stay metal.
Start. I won't ever let it go for love, no money.
This is Shane from HammerjacK, and this is Cards and Whiskey on Honest Brutality.
Show you mine. And I can see a 3 but a raging 9. Run away that you were playing so rough. But I've got you now, I can see your blood. Yeah, take it to the limit. Someone's got to win it. I call you out. A chance, 'cause I